He hits him completely flat, but then when Punk comes down like that, it it gets him. That's my guess. Well, I have the footage right here. We're gonna go slow through this and see. Now, this spot here, by the way, is if you watch the match from episode 15, it's either a chair, a garbage can lid, or other objects that are actually more flat than a toolbox in a way. So, with PJ and myself, if you refer to episode 15, I was choking him with a strap, hanging him. He got the garbage can lid and did that, like kind of like a pan, the just kind of try to get off me type thing. Punk, the same thing. Out here, and we're going to go to the footage here. You could see Drew's reaching over the middle, which is really you gotta lean over the middle. If you lean over the top, like if he leaned over the top here, Punk wouldn't be. Then he would get the corner of the toolbox. But Drew goes through the middle here. Punk is right here, and what's going to happen is Punk, as he's leaned over, is going to throw the toolbox up into Drew. Now, thank God he didn't hit him in the face. That would have been bad, like a Joey Mercury type of split open type thing. So as we look right here, I'm going to go frame by frame. Yeah, this is weird because he's hitting them. We thought at first it was these latches right here on the front of the toolbox. It's not. It's the bottom of the toolbox. So, and he did not. I mean, there's guys that have gashed themselves and gigged themselves. Drew covered with the hand like this, but he didn't gig himself to that degree. I don't think so, at least. Here's all I can think of, James, as I'm looking at it. He hits him with the toolbox, and then the toolbox comes down towards Punk. So I'm wondering if there was a lip of metal or a little, when you powder coat something and there's a little bit of a speck left over the metal. I think that gashed him. That little part. He hit him flat, boom. Then the toolbox comes down, and Drew on that part grabs at his head. Do you see that now? I think on the bottom, there was this, it's a freak accident. On the bottom, there was literally just an extra bit of metal, like a shaving or something that when they powder coated it, it was like a little razor blade or like a round speck. And that right there, as it came down, that gash Drew. That's my guess. Yeah.
So we were trying to come up with theories. I can't get the footage. I can't find it. I've got it on my
I gotta
laptop
watch the show. You gotta watch the show then.
Oh, yeah, I'll rewatch it. Well, we were trying to think like I know I'm using the wrong word, but we thought it was like the knurling, like the embossed bits of the toolbox.
Like a manhole cover plate type of pattern, yes.
Yeah, exactly. But if you look further on in the footage where CM Punk after he hits Drew, he lifts up the box and it looks smooth all the way under. And of course, it's got to be smooth because it's got to be sat on flat surfaces. You don't want to be rocking it back and forth. What else did we think? We thought maybe hitting the corner, but it looks pretty flat. I mean, it's a toolbox. Maybe a tool had dug through the base slightly.
Now, my guess is if Drew is gashed like this, which is my guess, because the blood ran straight. If he was gashed this way, it would kind of be kind of streamed across the side and then down. Drew's face is literally it's a straight down the face to the chest thing. I'm looking at this more and more, and Chris, you can go back and forth between us. I'm playing it real slow. He hits him completely flat, but then when Punk comes down like that, it it gets him. That's my guess.
Yeah. For the wound itself, as I say, 16 staples to close, and also it's almost exactly where where your parting is in your hair. It's like right in the center, direct in the middle as well. I mean, it's a terrible cut.
I have a fr- I have a, fr- I have a freeze frame it right here. The center of his head, top of his head here, goes through the ropes. And I'm telling you, flat right there, that's the part that gashes him. It's got to be, dude. He didn't hit him hard enough to split him. You know what I mean? It feels more like this. Now that I'm looking at it for like the 20th time, that's how it happened. Everybody everybody can leave a comment. You go back and watch it frame by frame, but I believe something was on the bottom of the toolbox that cut him open. Different than the cane shot. Give a little segue. That cane shot, it was no mystery how I got the staples all the way around like like I was wearing a beret. My own head is a beret. That said, "Hello, everybody."
Like a comb over.
Yeah. "Good luck, everybody."
Uh, well, my next question was, have you ever been hit hard and been hard weighed during a match?
Many, many times. Many, many times. Nothing like the Dreamer one from the Singapore Cane match, but man, and I knew right away that the thing that's weird is Drew probably knew, but he didn't you don't know how bad it is because the area goes numb right away, and you don't know, and plus, I'll tell you a funny story. Are we gonna break down and analyze the actual Singapore Cane shot? Do you wanna do that now?
Do you want to do that at the end or?
We'll do it at the end, and I'll tell
Yeah,
the
okay.
story. I'll tell the story because Drew might have not known, and then when he got to the back, like, his fingers went into his brain, and he was like, "Oh, wait, I got staples. I gotta get this taken care of." 'Cause you also your adrenaline, and you're gonna talk about bleeding. Drew's adrenaline made that stream much more. Your blood's pumping, your heart's pumping. You get in a very dangerous territory of losing a lot of blood because you're so excited. Then your blood pressure, then I don't know what can happen. You can turn around and your blood pressure can completely drop. That's very dangerous.
With that being said, does blood flow react differently when it's Hardway versus Blade?
I mean, it all depends. I mean, when you're hard weighed, usually it's not a clean kind of razor blade thin cut. When like Drew's hard, if you're hard weighed more times than not, unless you're in your eye or whatever, your face, more times than not on the head, you're getting staples, which means it's opened up, it's jagged, it's not a clean this or some guys back in the day would do this up and down. But there's still an inherent danger of doing this because you have veins up in your you cut too deep, you pretty much cut a vein or an artery, and that's you've seen instances in the old school days where blood was spurting out. That's usually because you hit something. So, it's not different. I know guys used to do tricks like with the double dog collar match back in 1995. I remember I was backstage because Gary beat me to the back, right? And then it was my first time ever doing it. And I did it once, twice, want to do it a third time. And Paul comes up and goes, "Stop. You're bleeding. Stop." Because I was like, had no idea. I was just going to keep doing that. And that was probably my worst gig job that I ever did. Oh, the iPad technical difficulties. Don't put the screen up, Chris. Save that sparingly. So, but when I went out there to bleed like that, I had taken a couple aspirin and I don't drink, but I drank a beer to thin my blood out. That's like an old school. I don't know if it really worked. Could be a placebo effect, but I was bleeding plenty in that double dog collar match. Now with the hard way with Dreamer, there was no blood. It was the finish anyway with the cane. There was no blood until I'll tell the story, until I got to the back, didn't realize it, and then said, "Oh, wait a minute, I have a flap." And now, holy God, I'm in the shower and it looks like a scene from Psycho. Blood everywhere. Like the shower stream was bouncing the blood off all the walls. And I was like, I walked out, I think Chuck Plumbo or somebody was getting in the shower, and I said, "Good luck, everybody." And just left.
I've got a couple more things about Hardway, so we're going to get into the blading. Clotting. Do they clot differently?
Well, obviously, if you're split like Drew or myself with the cane, you gotta get stapled up, you gotta get treatment done. With the blading, it depends on how good you are doing it, where you're blading at, but you can stop the bleeding pretty good. But obviously, like I said, if you hit a vein or an artery, you're going to the hospital, getting stitches. Oh, I'm sorry, local medical facility.
Yes, for goodness sake, we can't have a hospital here. What was the theory about that? This is one of the Vince McMahon directors where I think if he said hospital, he was worried that fans would call the local hospitals trying to find information.
Yeah, I think that's where it is. But the local medical facility was just like, hey, if you got wrestling fans that want to find the boys if they're in a hospital, they're going to find them. Urgent care, you know, local medical complex, whatever it might be. But that was always funny. But Vince was always, you got to give Vince credit at least. He was always willing to kind of change the trigger words or the marketing words. I'm sorry, local medical facility, WWE Universe. I give him credit for trying to get away from fans and this and that. There was even one point where JR in a talent meeting was telling us that Vince, this was so funny. Vince wanted us to start calling the fans consumers because fans was insulting.
Why?
I go, you don't think consumers is
Yeah, I mean, how faceless do you want to make your fans?
yeah, that was the original pitch for people to become NPCs, I guess.
Oh my god. And oh yeah. Yes.
Ha ha,
Oh,
ha ha.
that's a lovely gaming reference.
Uh, who's the best at doing hard ways without just killing you?
Terry Funk.
Oh really?
Terry Funk
Was he
with
doing the knuckle thing?
the knuckle thing on your eyebrow. Yeah, that was in the old days, that was the way a lot of guys, because this cartilage or soft tissue could be busted open very easily. Of course, you're still getting busted open hard way and probably need stitches or something. Sabu, I know you're gonna get to the Sabu if you're talking about Hardway and color. All the rumors about Sabu super gluing every cut is true. All the rumors about Sabu tearing his bicep in the barbed wire match and then just taping it up during the match, 100% true. Sabu is beyond a real one. I will say that. Super nice guy too.